The passage reads, the classic children's board game Chutes and Ladders is a version of an ancient Nepalese game, Param PS. In both games, players encounter good or bad spaces while traveling along a path. Landing on one of the good spaces allows a player to skip ahead and arrive closer to the end goal. So I noticed that the answer choices show a difference between singular and plural verbs. Allows is singular and allow is plural, right? So I'm looking for the subject of the sentence, of this verb. So what allows? What allows a player to skip ahead? So the subject of the sentence is actually landing, right? On one of the good spaces I want to ignore because that's part of a prepositional phrase, and subjects are never found inside of prepositional phrases. So landing is my subject here. Landing is a singular subject. ING words are always singular subject. So I know that a singular subject must have a singular verb. Therefore, allows would be the correct answer here. The passage reads, while J.L.B., a prominent Argentinian author known for his intricate and metaphysical short stories, was not initially recognized by his home country's literary establishment, his prolific body of work, which includes the collections F and the Aleph, have become widely regarded as some of the most innovative and influential writing of the 20th century. So I noticed the difference in my answer choices. Have is plural and has is singular. So as soon as I notice that difference between a singular and a plural verb, I know I'm being tested on subject-verb agreement. So I have to look for the subject of this verb. So what has become widely regarded? So that's what I'm looking for here. So if I go back to the beginning of the sentence, it says, while Jorge, a prominent Argentinian author known for his intricate medical physical design, was not initially recognized by his home country's literary establishment, his prolific body of work. So body would be my subject here, right? Everything else is just extra information. Of work, I want to ignore because that's part of a prepositional phrase, and the subject of a sentence is never found inside of a prepositional phrase, which includes the collections Phi and the Aleph. This is also, I want to ignore this as well, because this is just these which clauses, right? These modifying clauses, these are just non-essential pieces of information, and the subject is not going to be found inside of these modifiers, right? They're not going to be found inside these non-essential pieces of information. So his prolific body is going to be my subject here. And body is a singular subject, therefore I need a singular verb. So what has become widely regarded? Oh, his body has, right? So even though that sounds kind of weird, right? This is the subject of the sentence. So I know that the correct answer is going to be C because that's the only singular verb that I have. The rest of these, A, B, and D, are all plural verbs, so I can get rid of those pretty easily. The passage reads, collaborating closely with Nino C. on several research projects is Dr. David Smith, an American ecologist and expert in biochemical engineering, biochemical cycling, whose extensive knowledge of nutrient cycling in aquatic environments has greatly contributed to their joint efforts to better understand the role of microorganisms in shaping environmental processes. So if I take a look at the answer choices, I notice a difference between a singular and a plural verb. That's enough for me to know that, hey, I'm being tested on subject-verb agreement as one of the things. So now I look for the subject of this verb. So I ask myself, what has greatly contributed? So that's what I'm looking for or reading for. So you start reading here. It says, whose extensive knowledge of cycling, of nutrient cycling in aquatic environments has greatly contributed. So here, my subject of this verb is knowledge, right? Of nutrient cycling in aquatic environments is part of a prepositional phrase. And I know that the subject is never going to be found inside of a prepositional phrase, right? So I can ignore this. So knowledge is a singular subject. Therefore, I need a singular verb to pair with this singular subject. This would make A the correct answer. And choices B, C, and D are all going to be wrong because these are all plural verbs. Have, contribute, and are all plural. You can eliminate these confidently and to the correct answer, A. Guys, that'll be it. If you know what to do, if you know what to look for, if you know what you're being tested on the SAT, the work becomes really, really easy. Subject-verb agreement, really, as soon as you notice one difference between a singular and a plural verb in your answer choices, you know that one of the things you're looking for is your subject, right? Find the subject of this verb, right? You can ask yourself, what has greatly contributed? And you want to read for that, right? Make sure that you read from the beginning of the sentence and you go forward instead of reading from the underlined portion and going backwards. The SAT is going to try to do things to trick you and trap you into choosing the wrong answer. Like, for example, notice the word environments here is plural. That word comes right before the verb, right? So a lot of students will kind of mistakenly think that this is the subject when it's really not. So this is why you don't want to go backwards, because you might choose the wrong subject, right? It's hard to see that the subject is inside a prepositional phrase if you're going backwards. This is why it's important to start back from the beginning of the sentence and go forward. Because when you go forward from here, you know that the subject knowledge, right, the subject's going to be knowledge, and you know that of now is going to create a prepositional phrase. You know this prepositional phrase is going to end at environments, and you know that now you know that subjects can never be found inside of prepositional phrases, so you can ignore the word environments when thinking about your subject. So now you know it's the knowledge. Knowledge is singular, therefore the correct answer has to be a singular verb. Okay, so knowing these things and knowing how to answer these questions, you can guarantee getting these questions correct, right? Pretty consistently. Okay, this is the sort of new style of video that I created where I'm just kind of solving the questions and not really doing a lot of teaching or explaining. If you like this style of video more, please let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, you guys, make sure to always stay curious. Never stop learning. You guys got this. Take care.